It's wonderful to have the analysis and insight of John Bolton when we need that analysis and insight. Talking about the Ukraine this morning. If, in fact, Putin moves and they become a de facto Russian republic again, what kind of pressure does it put on Poland? Does Putin have any fear at all of Barack Obama? Do we have to call on the EU? Tag, you're it. It's your problem. Get busy. Let's start there with John Bolton, former United States ambassador to the United Nations. The ambassador joins us this morning on our turnkey.pro answer line. Does this get a lot worse before it gets better, Mr. Ambassador?
Well, it certainly appears that it's headed in that direction. You know, they announced a truce yesterday evening to negotiate between the government of the Ukraine and the protesters, and it's already broken down. Some reports up to 20 new fatalities already today. I think that the only inconvenient thing here for the government of Ukraine and Vladimir Putin is that the Sochi Olympics are still going on. I think they have crossed a Rubicon. I think the violence we've seen in the past couple days indicates what the Ukraine's government plans to do. And the only question now is whether the military holds firm behind the government. I'm not saying that they will use military troops against the protesters, but I think the military could secure government buildings and free the police up to be more active. It's a very bad situation, and it's a situation that has grown really over an extended period of time, 20 years since the breakup of the Soviet Union. We have not had an effective strategy to bring Ukraine and many other parts of the former Soviet Union toward the West, and that's why I'm afraid now we may be at the cusp of Ukraine slipping back under Russian domination.
If the Olympics weren't going on right now, what do you think would be Russia's involvement and Putin's involvement?
Well, I'm sure he's very involved behind the scenes. I don't think there's any chance here of Russian military forces being involved, but I would bet dollars to donuts that their security services, their espionage agents, provocateurs are in Kiev now and perhaps other places working with the government of Ukraine. Putin put out a few weeks ago an offer of $15 billion of aid to Ukraine, and in response, the United States and the European Union threatened economic sanctions against Ukraine to reduce economic ties to the West in a way that will simply drive Ukraine closer to Moscow, which, of course, is exactly the opposite of what we want.
So we had heard that the EU might be able to essentially bribe them to turn towards the West, but that's not going to work. It's a foregone conclusion that that's behind us at this point.
Unfortunately, look, the European Union is less than the sum of its parts. I would rather the United States, if we had a president in the White House, I'd rather the United States dealt with countries like Germany, France, and Britain directly to try and form a common strategy. But, you know, the president doesn't think there's anything at stake here. And this is a very interesting confluence of his isolationist views and Ron Paul's isolationist views. Yesterday, Ron Paul was quoted as saying, "We don't have any stake in this. This is just for the Ukrainian citizens." The National Security Council spokesman yesterday said, "We're not in competition with Russia in Ukraine." And Barack Obama himself said, "Look, we're not talking about moving around chess pieces on a Cold War chessboard. It's for the citizens of the Ukraine to work out." I mean, I don't know how to describe any better why and how and the effect of Barack Obama simply not caring about American national security. There's obviously a lot at stake here for the Ukrainians. There's a lot at stake here for us as well, and he doesn't understand it.
Well, yesterday, President Obama ordered 20 Ukrainian officials, banned them from coming to the U.S. That's, a form of sanctions. Should we do more?
Well, what do you think was the effect on the 20 Ukrainian officials
probably
that he
laughed
banned?
And did a shot
they
of vodka.
Probably said, "Great, now we can go to Sochi after the crowds clear out." This is the kind of symbolic, rhetorical, let's be clear, weak response that I think Putin anticipated and what he's getting from Obama and from the Europeans. Think back to August of 2008. When Russia invaded Georgia, the former Soviet republic, stripped away 2 provinces from Georgia that they still control. Candidate Barack Obama said in August of 2008 that Russia and Georgia, he said, both sides should exercise restraint. Just think about that.
Georgia was so out of line there.
Yeah, Georgia, you stop being so provocative to poor Russia. Putin, I'm sure, read that speech 5-6 years ago. He has never forgotten it. And Barack Obama hasn't changed.
I think presidents should always have, as part of their resume, combat, at least military service, if not combat service, and they better be pretty good at chess.
Well, Barack Obama doesn't. He doesn't even think there's a game going on, and I'm very worried that this extension of Russian hegemony over a piece of the former Soviet Union, and a very big piece. Ukraine's got a population of 46 million people.
Significant.
It would be a big Western European country. This is not some tiny strip of land on the margins of the Russian Empire. This is a big, big chunk of territory, resources, and people, and we're losing it.
Ambassador Bolton is a guy that used to read the tea leaves when they're sent your way. What do you think about Russia's foreign minister describing this as an attempted coup, and he used the phrase brown revolution, kind of alluding to the Nazis' rise to power?
Yes.
Does that pave the road for intervention like the PR road? Are they paving it right now, saying, well, this is like a Nazi situation, we must move?
Yeah, I don't think even Putin is prepared to do that at this point, absent a real deterioration of the situation, which really did amount to civil war. Then I think he would be in a different place. That may yet happen. I think that's very unlikely. But I think what you're seeing is creating the political cover for very, very direct Russian intervention short of military force, and not just in Ukraine, but in all of the other former republics of the Soviet Union. And as their hegemony gets pushed farther out, farther toward Central and Eastern Europe, toward Western Europe, their ability to use their oil and natural gas supplies, which they pipe to Europe, will increase. The leverage they have over the Europeans will increase because they see among the leaders of Western Europe a lot of posturing, a lot of rhetoric. Oh, we're so outraged at what's happening. They're not doing anything that's going to slow the Ukrainian government or the Russian government down.
Ambassador, thank you for your time and your analysis this morning. It's always great to be able to call on you on mornings like this.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
John Bolton on our turnkey.pro answer line.